Northeast India, a region guarded by the Himalayan range and the Patkai range, consisting of beautiful river valleys, high terrains, home of India's remaining natural forests and potential energy resources. But apart from its diverse ecology, these seven sister states have another significance. It boasts champions from every possible sport. In football, their contribution to the national team in recent years has been colossal. Although having a relatively rich football history, the craze for football has never been equally poised in India. Earlier, Bengal, Goa, Kerala, Punjab and Maharashtra used to be the hub where football was mostly popular, and most of the players used to come from these regions. But after 1980, the scene started changing slowly as several talents from these seven sister states started establishing themselves in the mainstream of Indian football. Today, 87 players from this region play across various clubs in the Hero ISL, which is the top division of Indian football. Numerous others are plying their trades in other levels of the football pyramid. The success of Northeast clubs have also been reflected upon the Indian football ecosystem. Aizawl FC became the first club from Northeast to be crowned the champion of I-League in 2016, and Neroka FC from Manipur came runners-up in 2017-18 I-League. These clubs and several other academies take care of a supply chain of footballers by providing their modest help, which could still put top clubs from other regions in shame. But what about Northeast United, which actually is the sole representative of this region in the ISL? Well, here are some stats for you.
Give it up for NorthEast United FC!
Please welcome John Abraham and Ricky.
John Abraham, Bollywood superstar and the principal owner of the club, wanted to provide a platform for the budding talents coming through the ranks of these northeastern states and established the club in 2014, partnering with Shillong Rajong FC, another Meghalaya-based club famous for its youth development. Northeast also used the Indian contingent of Shillong Rajong in their first season. Former New Zealand manager Ricky Herbert has chosen, and Spanish World Cup winner Joan Capdevila came in as a marquee player to motivate the young players. Although Northeast finished 8th in the first season, the response of the fans was great. Still, Shillong Rajong exited the partnership after the second season, and John Abraham became the sole owner. Northeast's performances showed some improvements. They finished 5th for 2 consecutive seasons. Starting from the 2017-18 season, ISL went through a massive overhaul. The league got the recognition from AFC and it was expanded for 5 months. The number of foreigners also decreased. 2 new teams, Bengaluru FC and Jamshedpur FC, backed by corporate giants JSW and Tata Groups, were added. Still, for most of the franchisees, the possibility of reaching the break-even point was in the far future. So some teams went through ownership change and others started planning for a sustainable future. Northeast didn't have such problems. Being the only representative in ISL from football-rich region, fan engagement was never in doubt, with Dutchman Elko Shatori taking over in 2018 and with players like Gallego, Raulin Borges and Bartholomew Ogbeche, Northeast reached the semi-finals for the first time. Although they didn't proceed further, but the tone was finally set. All they needed was a long-term project to move forward. That's where the club failed to capitalize. Elko left next season for Kerala Blasters and took Ogbeche with him. The club hired Croatian Robert Zarni as their new manager, and the result was disastrous. He was sacked in the middle of the tournament. And for the first time in their history, Indian coach Khalid Jamil took over. The result wasn't so good, and for the 2020-21 season, Spaniard Gerard Nus was appointed as the manager. Nus was sacked halfway through the season, and once again Khalid Jamil took over. This time he managed to turn the table completely. Northeast United reached playoff again and finished 3rd. Things could have been different if Gallego wasn't injured in the second leg of the semi-final. Still, the outcome was impressive. and Khalid was appointed manager for the next season. But scenes started changing soon after a few heartbreaks and internal problems, and Khalid Jamil was sacked. The same story is repeated for this season, as after playing 11 matches, the club is at the bottom of the table, winning only one match. Head coach Marco Balbul has been sacked, and it is not looking good for the new coach Vincenzo Alberto Anis. Success in modern football or any other elite sports takes significant time, investment and proper planning. Take last season's finalist Kerala Blasters and Hyderabad FC for example. Both these teams have managers who have long-lasting projects with their owners' trust and have built a team with the perfect mixture of youth and experience. In ISL, foreigners or seasoned Indian professionals are rare commodities, be it managers or players, because the experience they brought with them. NorthEast fails miserably in these aspects. Most of their foreign players over the years were either not up to the mark or they left despite performing greatly because the management were hesitant to offer them a new contract. Take Bartholomew Ogbeche, Luis Machado, Federico Gallego for example. Same goes for managers. Elko and Khalid Jamil brought overnight success, but they too were shown the door pretty quickly. For the last couple of seasons, NorthEast's transfer strategy has mainly been signing emerging players from the I-League. No doubt this is applaudable, but in most of the time, adaptation from lower ranks to the top division takes time. That's why recruiting experienced foreigners becomes crucial, which has been another failure on the management's part. Just take this season for example, apart from Romain Filippo too, how many impactful players do they have? So the pressure goes on the shoulders of youngsters. A lot has been said over the years from the owners about youth development. Needless to say, none of them has borne any fruit. Being in a region which produces footballers in volumes, neither the club participates in any age group tournaments nor does it have any residential academy. Money can't be an excuse, because clubs like Aizol or Neroka are doing wonders even with a tighter budget. The developmental team NorthEast United 2, which has recently achieved promotion in the GSA B division, is doing exceptionally well. But they too were thrown under the bus in the last edition of Durand Cup, where most of the teams had participated with full strength. As a result, they had to face heavy defeats against Odisha FC and Kerala Blasters. Indian football is currently standing on a point from which any mistake could put its chance of being an Asian superpower back to further decades. That's why maximum contribution from all the stakeholders, especially those who have more privileges, is the need of the hour. We hope NorthEast United soon finds success and brings joy to those fans who have been there in the stands through thick and thin.